Hello, lovely souls. So let's talk about what is your reality. And there can be different levels of reality. And the first type of reality depends on the state of being you're in. And the second type of reality depends on the vibrational state that you're in. So let's start with the state of being you're in. So as the energies flow, they're like a current. And they can be like a wave. They can go up, they can go down. Well, the energies flow how they flow, but you can go up within them or you can go down within them. When you're in a higher state of being, you're in more of a creative flow because creativity is one of the higher ways of being within this cosmic arena. So when you're in that state, that higher state, you're really focused on creating. You're really focused on creating and doing what feels good, doing what feels inspired, whether that's meditating in that moment, whether it's starting some kind of a creative project that you've always had an inspiration to do. Um, and you feel really good. You feel in a state of peace, a state of joy, and positive. And when you're in that state and you're doing what feels in alignment for you, the world can be crazy around you. You can be surrounded with crazy chaos, even within your own personal environment. But in that higher state, you don't really even notice it. You don't pay attention to it. Everybody else is kind of doing their thing, and you're in your state of being. And it's a higher flow within that current. We can call it like surfing on that wave of your own energy and that current of energy. So when you're surfing in that wave of energy, the energy is actually helping to propel you forward, and it makes it easier to be in your flow. Otherwise, we can also know it as sometimes being in the zone, but this is very much about being in an aligned state of zone, which is different than the other kinds of zones people talk about. So that's the higher state of your reality. And then the lower state of your reality will happen when you're feeling more in a funk, and you forget to create. You forget that you have this amazing capacity to create. And that creation is not just in the doing, but it's in the being. We can create our own state of being. We can create energetically happiness. We create those feelings from our heart, and then they go out from us into our fields and propel out further from there. So you're no longer in a state of wanting to create the the flow. You're no longer surfing. Your focus now starts to switch to fear and to worry and a state of lack, right? And you start to worry about, in a lot of cases, finances, and if you'll have enough, if things might go awry. And as you start to focus on that, your energy starts to get, and your focus starts to get drawn more and more into the negative stuff that's going on. You may start to find that you're drawn more to some of the world events, some of the things that some of these control puppets have been doing. You may start to focus on those again, or at different times, and you start to feel disempowered and helpless. And even though you know that you are here as a higher being, you start to disconnect from that and get stuck in that limited lack, feeling really small, little human, powerless state of being. So when you're in that state, you're no longer surfing that current of energy. You're now sort of sucked down lower than that, and you're kind of being tossed around, tumbled in the current of energy that's coming through. And that's just not a fun feeling. It's not a good place to be. The good thing is that you can easily bring yourself out of that and know that you can change your state, by choosing to start to focus on what feels good, by choosing to start to focus on things that are a higher vibrational state of being. You can start by going out and connecting with nature. That'll help to change your state very quickly, by meditating, by listening to a high vibrational facilitated meditation, even by someone. And that will help to get you back in touch with a bit of a higher flow within that current of energy. Okay. And as you start to rise up again, you'll start to find your surfboard again and have the opportunity, if you keep your focus on getting back up on that surfboard and flowing again. Okay. So those are the different states of reality. And then there's different states of truth as well that you can have. And that depends on your vibrational state. So the higher of a vibration you hold, and that happens from doing your own work, from working on clearing out your limitations, your blocks, your fears, your traumas. As you do that, your vibrational state goes up. As your vibrational state goes up, your access to the infinite knowledge in the cosmos, the divine living library, as we call it, because we're constantly creating that library as we go forward. Your access to that library increases and increases. You have greater access to it. It's kind of like um, when you're little, you don't know as much about the world. The adults know more in terms of how to be in this 3D world. It's kind of like that. So when your vibrational state is lower, then we're more connected to our human life, and we kind of have these abstract ideas that we're supposed to have a soul and have maybe a purpose and all of that. But life is more geared around the day-to-day, the careers, the 3D way of living that we have here, our work, etc. As your vibration starts to change, you're knowing that you're much more than just your human self starts to come in very naturally, and it's no longer just an abstract idea. And then you continue to, as you raise your vibration, you continue to have greater and greater access and greater inner knowings. And as you do that, you have more information that you can now stream from that living library, okay? And you can then start to have a change in your truth of who you are, a change in your truth of what is reality, a change in your truth of why you're even here, a change in your truth of why things are happening the way they are in the world. And a lot of this stuff many of you already know, but it's the levels of truth that make it hard sometimes for people to receive information. They can listen to somebody who's saying such and such and such, and if your vibrational state is here, that information is going to sound crazy and you're not going to have any connection to it. You can go within and try to feel if it resonates. It won't even resonate. And it doesn't mean the information is wrong. It just means that it's kind of doing this. So there's no place for it to connect to for you to even feel if it resonates. As your vibrational state goes up, then all of a sudden you'll be more receptive to certain truths that you may not have been at all before, or may not even have been aware of before, because the awareness within your reality, you won't even draw it in if your vibrational state is lower. So the truth of your reality will continue to change as your access grows, because your vibration is going higher. And the truth of your reality will start to get to the point of you really get a knowing that you are actually a multidimensional being. You really start to get a knowing that our human form carries amazingly phenomenal advanced technology in it that we've not had access to at all, even though it's there. So just know that we have different states of being and we have different realities. And in those realities, we have different truths. And that will help us all understand each other better and have the knowing that we have the ability to create a different way of being for all of us here that can be at a higher and higher level of truth, and hence a higher and higher level of reality that we can create here and anchor it in. Much love to you all. Thank you so much.